In terms of employee well-being, esports has never really had it's never been a prominent feature within a normal well-being program. But now that in the new generation of employee well-being, every single aspect is trying to be gamified. We all have wearable devices and we all have step challenges. Could we even take a step further now and use esports to actually gamify employee well-being even more in a hope to keep employees engaged longer and hopefully at a higher rate?
So I think that to be able to answer that question, I would just differentiate between esports and gamification. So gamification is, yes, using notifications, badges, rewards, leaderboards for people to take particular actions. Esports is a structured approach to playing video games. So in that respect, your gamification is going to continue, whether it's a step count as part of an internal program. From an esports perspective, I think that will become more prominent for two reasons. If we think back to when we were at school, there were different types of people in different groups. Some were into sports and some were not. So to be able to engage the percentage of your employee workforce who are not interested or feel comfortable participating in physical activities, you need to be able to provide an alternative. And gaming and esports is one of those ways of engaging a workforce who want something a little different. And it's something that they may feel more comfortable with. The second point is the fact that actually you are starting to get the millennials coming into the workforce who are glued to their phones. The way that they consume media is very different, and their understanding of the world around them is very different from previous generations. So for them, having elements such as gaming built into an overall offering is almost expected, because that's what they've grown up with, whether it's consuming YouTube videos, whether it's going and creating Instagram stories and doing dances on TikTok and all those sorts of things. Gaming is a natural part of their overall daily experience. So yeah, companies should be looking at it from the perspective of, okay, if we're going to start welcoming these people into the workforce, what do we need to be able to offer to cater to them?
Yeah, absolutely. I suppose the kind of the fantasy football or fantasy rugby have always been around for a long period of time, and now that we're just taking a step, as you said, towards the new millennial employees, even going into the larger companies. So I do think as well that the employee wellbeing programs will adjust, especially given the situation now.
Yeah, and I think it will become even more prevalent as you're starting to see more Gen Zs come in. So millennials, again, are those who are probably the first generation who grew up with gaming as a whole. Now Gen Zs with, not necessarily knowing some of the old consoles or, growing up with some of the first PCs, and everything is mobile focused for them. There will be another natural shift for how you try and cater to the Gen Zs coming through. So I think there'll be two considerations there based on those generational differences.
Now, corporate sports have taken their first jump into esports, still within the corporate realm, obviously. And we are using the PS4 and FIFA 20 with a sport element to it as our first leap. How do you think this will change? Do you think that we, as an employee wellbeing company catered around sport, health and wellness, will stick to the sport games, or do you think it's even worthwhile kind of drifting further afield to include other games, those on mobiles, on other platforms? What do you suggest in that? What do you see happening?
I think it's going to be worth considering the options. Now, if you are offering programs that are company agnostic, you may then need to offer a variety of different games. If you're working specifically with one corporation, again, they may have certain restrictions on types of titles that they feel comfortable with. But the big consideration will be not necessarily what you feel comfortable offering, it's what the employees are expecting. If they spend all of their time playing a non-sports game, then the only way to engage them is to offer something that they are used to playing and feel comfortable with.
Absolutely. I suppose at the end of the day, we're all about actually engaging employees. So